Hello everybody and welcome to ETF2L 6v6 Winter 2025, that's Season 49, Premiership Week 6. I am Rook and I am joined by Ben PL as we bring you a matchup between ANTICIDE and DTR, and man oh man, is there a lot riding on the line today.
There absolutely is, and as we say, we're into week number 6, so there's not too long for each of these two teams to get those last few points on the board and perhaps sneak into those playoff positions. We've seen ANTICIDE DTR, both very changed teams coming into this season, sitting in the 4th and 5th positions respectively, and as we all know, the top 4 are the ones that make it through, but everyone below that will be going home empty-handed. So I guess we can talk a little bit about sort of how they've got here. DTR played 5 games so far. They both sat on 13 points, but their last game is against Witness. So I know you said in the intro there that there's a lot riding on it for for DTR. I don't know. I think against Witness, are we maybe pushing it a bit that maybe this is the last chance they've got to get points?
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement, Witness. I mean, look, they definitely bled in the earlier part of the season, but I don't think they're going to bleed versus DTR. I think it'll be a real difficulty for them to be able to take that one in any way, shape, or form. And kind of the way things played out, as you said, they've really got to put this one in the bag. Otherwise, they're just not going to be able to get it over the line.
Yeah, but on the other side of things, ANTICIDE, they've actually got a game in hand. Their week 4 game, I believe, has been postponed. That'll be getting played in week 6 against Samakot. And Samakot's season has been rocky, to say the least. And that's kind of putting it nicely because they are last in the division, having not secured a single point. So it's going to be maybe an easier run of fixtures coming into the end of the season for ANTICIDE. But what can be said, right? They've got to win this game today. And if DTR take this, then that is absolutely game on in terms of trying to secure that 4th and final playoff spot. We've got 2 maps coming up tonight. We've got Granary coming up first, and then it will be on to Bagel afterwards.
Yeah, definitely one to keep an eye on for these soldiers tonight, obviously. I mean, everybody knows that Granary has massive focus on those soldiers and what they can really put on the board. But don't forget that as much as we focus on that pocket scout on Bagel, it is also really focused on those 2 side houses and how that one happens. But we are going to kick things off with Granary here as we're getting ready for that rollout.
Yeah, mid-fight number 1 here on Granary. It usually can be a bit of a chaotic, frantic start to these matches. As we see the demo men rolling out either side, Huge are going to get there marginally faster than Alien Smiley here with the blue side. We have ANTICIDE already trying to take a bit of high ground, trying to poke and prod, but nobody's really gone for anything crazy yet.
No, there is a bump. Smile does get quite deep. Doesn't manage to find anything. Huge is the first one to go down. Comes on through. They lose both soldiers for it. However, without that demo, it's difficult to hold the space, and it is going to mean that it's going to be down to Pandemic to push forward and get that aggression in, which does give them just about what they need. But they do drop their med.
You said in the pre-game perfectly, these soldiers can have such high impact on these mids, and we see the double bomb coming in instantly there from Smile and from Nikki here from DTR. What a great start from them, completely demolishing everyone on that right-hand side of the mid. Theos goes down, the entire rest of the combo just crumbles, and now DTR cap up mid. They've got a massive advantage, and they can look to start walking forwards.
Yeah, I mean, soldiers are like bullets in a gun, right? You've got to use them and they can have great effect. Ryan does manage to take down Smile on the flank and will go down. Alex takes a little bit of damage, does manage to get out of dodge, but that is absolutely yard and potentially second right away in the favor of ANTICIDE here. Sorry, no, of DTR as they just push on in and really cut away ANTICIDE.
This could be fairly dangerous actually now for ANTICIDE. Yes, the Uber charge got used, but there's no demo man here on the defense. Yes, they've got a heavy up. Yes, they've got their soldiers to try and block any aggression, but perhaps there's a window of opportunity should DTR decide to take it. But for the moment, it looks as if they're not too interested. They're just going to use the fact that they know that ANTICIDE can't push out without their demo man. They're going to build up their own Uber. In this time, they're actually up to 60% already. So they're just taking their time, and this is going to even out.
Yeah, there was a check for off classes from the side of ANTICIDE, but they have got that engineer up right now. Can they pick off Smile? They'll be able to eventually grab him. They don't lose too much as Flick goes in deep, however, wanting to try and maybe deny that sentry, but alas, to no avail. Was not able to get even remotely close to that medic as that sack didn't really work.
And now it's potentially a little bit awkward now for these DTR players sat around in lobby. ANTICIDE thinking about pushing forward, but the spam is too good here. Nikki and the Alien in particular is able to completely lock out these doorways. That's bought some time for the spawners to come up. And I was wondering there, I saw Flick going in. Flick's someone we've seen come up on Sniper before, has done pretty well on it, but decides just to stay on the scout. They're going to go stock standard, and they're going to perhaps try and look for some soldier aggression like before.
There is a sniper quite far forward, and Pandemic does in fact take Smile right off the ball, but there's the jump in. It's going to have the Uber in just a second, but no, completely denied away by the sentry. I believe that was going to be a force, but it's just nothing.
The two headshots there from the sniper doing absolute bits there. Gets one kill, and the second player was a scout of Flick, who goes down to about like single-digit HP, just running in the 150 damage, doing great work. And now the reward for Anticide, they can cap up second, and they can even look to perhaps walk forward. The spawners are only just here in yard, and know they are fast enough. DTR, they can get the clamp in onto yard.
Yeah, they're contesting again, trying to make sure they can clear those sticks off and look for a chance to push on forward, but there's everyone in here right now for the side of Anticide. It's going to be difficult for DTR to really clear this without maybe some play on the left-hand side, but speaking of, Nicky is up there, does potentially have some backup from Flick. If they can find this frag onto Ryan, that would be good, but with lacking health, it's not going to happen quite just yet.
It's a tough fight to take as well, because Ryan can always just run back and get caught. I say that looks dangerously low down to 15 HP. That is going to perhaps give a bit of room there. Pandemic is just stopping up, and yeah, this push up the top by Lunchbox, it's tough to make work, especially when you've got like the beam so close to the blue side, because the red players thinking of Flick, they're so far away from their own beam, they can't push this with the buff, and they're just kind of dive bomb it in as Flick just runs in and takes a bit of an ambitious 1v1. Yeah, not going to pay off.
Yeah, ill-advised there, does go down, and that is going to give an opportunity for Anticide to move on out here. All the players into the kind of, well, yard, kind of the right-hand side of the yard at the very least, but they don't feel like they can commit much further. They're going to have to stick on second. They didn't really have enough to push out of it. Just taking that flank there was great, but oh my god, that's going to be a trade just coming on through. They commit towards it, and you can see Anticide, they're just running. They have that couple of extra seconds, and they almost find something that doesn't quite happen, and with Mechanic down and no Uber, they're going to have to be extra careful here.
Yeah, especially with the soldiers getting caught in C before the Ubers even get pumped out. Now there is a chance for DTR to try and make their way in. The push from the flank is going to be a lot easier this time around as Flick runs in, trades out the frag on to Ryan, and is actually going to dive in towards La, take the 1v1 again against Menex. This time is going to be living for a bit of time. This is getting so damn awkward. Flick wins it out behind. There's players in front. There's fights going on all the way back on last. But things might well be stabilising here for Anticide.
Yeah, Pandemic really doing a lot to keep that team alive and to find a lot of success. Good damage here, but it's not really going to be able to capitalise. In fact, you see the Hams gets chucked up into the air, does go down. Mechanic jumps forward to provide that space. They are hunting down that med, and they do actually manage to find it. Huge for the side of Anticide as they push out of second now, most likely, if they can just get through a little bit more.
The HP is so weak, there's actually no way that anyone in DTR could even dream of contesting this. You'd love to have one soldier perhaps being a bit of spamming, trying to slow down, maybe a demo watching an aggressive trap, but there's actually nothing you can do here over from the side of DTR. They've got their own sniper up in forward spawn, but it's still a monumental disadvantage. Jux has only just spawned, he's only on 25% Uber, and we can already see Anticide charging into Lunchbox.
Yeah, that we can, getting super aggressive, taking a lot of damage, but they had that Uber. They're going to absolutely slam it face up to try and catch some of these players. And I mean, going so aggressive there, takes two and makes it out scot-free. That is going to be an absolutely huge opportunity, but they've got to capitalize on it now. They don't have the players, they don't have the players for long, and they don't have the Uber. They lose Ryan immediately. Only a single player advantage right now. Mechanic wants to get something going. They take down Smile as well as they start to push on in, and they just get time on the point. Really well played by Anticide to take that from what looked like a rough start to, well, a first round win.
Yeah, great comeback from Anticide in this round, and it was all about that Uber on Pandemic. Yes, they catch the soldier up top in top lobby. That was kind of an expected death from DTI. You've got to have the soldier there to get the force out in the first place. But Pandemic manages to run all the way in behind and gets the kill on to Alien, and then there's no sticks on the point, no way to defend, and now they're a round up.
Gonna be in pretty quickly here, wanting to contest. Gonna try and get some of those height positions right now. You can see both scouts, well, nearly all the scouts focusing on it, but there is a chance for Flick to slip in through unchecked right now, looking for a chance. Nicky down there, lacking firepower. Smile is gone as well, and the ability to pressure on just isn't there. Yeah, they lose Mechanic, but everybody else is absolutely hunted down. Pandemic, yes, falls, but the entirety of DTR has to back out here.
DTR tried a very similar strategy to the last time, but this time around, ANTICIDE was so aware of it, completely cognizant of those bombs coming in off those two high walls at either side of the mid, and they couldn't even land, they couldn't even get down to the ground to get the damage onto that blue ANTICIDE combo. And this time it's ANTICIDE rolling this one forward, capping at the middle point, taking control of Yard. They're not going to get seconds yet because the red spawners are here in time, but what a turnaround this is from the first mid.
Yeah, way better for them. I think the height was a really important part, and they didn't get caught off guard by some of the pressure from Flick that really allowed Smile and Nikki to have their day. So really nicely played by ANTICIDE, and now they're going to apply what we saw from them in the previous round where they started to get that advantage.
Yeah, it's a bit tougher this time though, because DTR will have an overcharge of their own here to defend this second point with. We can see, again, a complete mirrored setup to what we saw in the first couple of minutes here. We've got players trying to make their way in from low, and Ryan actually catches a 1-for-1 there on the low ground, going to perhaps open up some space for an Ubercharge trade to come in from the combo. They've got Mechanic in behind, they've got Pandemic in trying to flash as many players as possible. Ams is coming up better on the Uber
Nikki.
As both the sides fade. Yes, Nikki falling down, so many weak players in the red combo, and actually everyone falls in the red combo. DTR just collapsed completely, 2 players left alive, and that was a great Uber until it just wasn't.
Yeah, they just run a position at the end, and Mechanic absolutely reaped the rewards there. Smiler's going to try and put that aggression on, but with Pandemic and Yuji on that one there, it's just so gone. It's a really nice round for ANTICIDE, and honestly, all off the back of Mechanic.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, the trade comes in, I really didn't think that was anything special. Yes, they got like a 1-for-1 on flank when that trade came in, but the post-Uber positioning and the post-Uber focus from ANTICIDE just absolutely tore DTR to shreds. Juxta couldn't even dream of getting out of that shutter door. And now it took us a while to get that first round in, but that is a really quick second round coming up now for ANTICIDE. They are getting into their gears.
Yeah, indeed they are. It's going to be, well, hopefully a mid that is a little bit more reminiscent of the start if you're a DTR fan right now, but ANTICIDE, McGee squaring up, holding strong in their little fort. Smile, very deep, but doesn't go down. Ryan tries to put that pressure on as Flick dives forward really aggressively with the backup. They do manage to take down a couple of players here, but the med makes it out, most importantly here, at least for now. The soldier jumps in, but gets taken down. A bolter here from Menex to try and keep their, well, medic alive, but they'll go down, and Theos is not far away either, trying to desperately dodge out of that one as the scouts really come home to roost for DTR.
Really great work, and that was, they had a soldier behind on 2 HP that basically the entire mid in choke, and it just meant that Theos just wasn't safe to leave for so long. They had to let their scout go back, get that kill, but at that point they've sat around in choke for so long that Ams and Flick, they are just going to make those work every single day of the week. And now we've had a repeat of the first mid here pretty much, although this time it's arguably even better. The Ubercharge sat at a flat 100%. Theos sees it's needed to come up on the crit streak to maybe try and get some kind of crit heavy laser beams coming up at the end of this push, but the second point's already falling, and this crit might not even be up in time.
Loving the aggression from Smile here to buy that space for their team, and absolutely Ams is on top of it. Mechanic gone this time, can't be the saving grace for their team. There's another last push, Sentry's up. They do have a sniper, so if they can find something big there, it'd be nice, but the push is on the right-hand side. The Uber's already popped, the Sentry is gone, and the players are completely choked out here. Nice frag coming on in. They actually get a couple of really nice denies, but the point time is just too much, and they get cut away.
I wonder there actually, Theos went on to crits and built it up to, I want to say about 15-20%, and then actually changed back to the Medigun and got that up to about 50%. I'm wondering, like, had Theos just been building crits the whole time? Was there a world where Menex could have had the laser beams at the end of that fight? It was not far away, because we see the position there, Menex is just on open ground. If that's laser beams, everyone dies on the entire point.
That's true, it's a very dangerous last point where those crits can be particularly effective, and definitely could have changed things. Alien going to take a little bit of damage early on here as you're going to be able to try and shut down that mid early for their team, as this time it's a lot more controlled for ANTICIDE, more reminiscent of that second mid.
Yeah, absolutely. This time they're not going to go for those higher bombs, not going to try and land on the height above the new combo. As both teams just sort of poking and putting, trying to wait for the right opportunity here. With the first opportunity is taken by Smile, who fades all the way around. Are we going to see a second bomb in from Nikki. Doesn't seem so just yet, just hiding around the damage, but flick the first one to fall, and now the floodgates might well open. Both these teams smile in, gets a load of damage onto Theos, but does not secure it. Nikki soldier in to secure that one final frag. But now it's a bit awkward. Juxta having to use the Uber on point, and the blue players trying to scatter as best as they can. Menex, Pandemic splitting up one either side. They might even think about recollapsing this if they really want Menex in, trying to get damage onto the Medic of Juxta. Just slips away.
Wow, just barely managed to get into a nice position there. Pandemic wanted to make it happen, but alas, no dice. And a really great shout out again to the soldiers of DTR. Smile and Nikki, the first one almost gets it there, and Nikki just shoves it across the line. Happy days for them, and they'll be looking towards that second point in no time.
Yeah, the one big saving grace here for Anticide is that, like, the two scouts of Pandemic and Medics, they stayed in and they stayed a threat for long enough that Juxt felt that he had to use the Uber to stay in that fight at the end. So now they're able to hold this with some kind of Uber. They're going to be getting a little bit of disad here, but the snipers and the stickies are actually just deleting everything. Wait a minute, hold up, hold the thought, because there's only 2 red players alive.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't believe that happened, but Yuji goes absolutely massive there, manages to find, well, as you said, the saving grace for this team right now. And Anticide, they managed to stem the bleeding.
It's even better than that. They're going to basically get mid off this. There might be an awkward trade when the spawners come in, and it seems like DTR wants to just that they're walking in the AMS solo trade. The patented one is going to run in and get one frag onto Hugie in the meantime, as now things are going to fade. We might see a recollapse come in. It could get a bit dicey now for these remaining Anticide players. They're trying to escape out of the garage, but the chase is on.
Oh, so low here. Theo's managing to just barely hold out. Didn't have the Uber, but I was just so worried that they were going to go down. Gonna have to get pushed out a little bit here. Pandemic trying to hold as Mechanic is behind still. If they could hold out here, Mechanic could go huge. Looks for a chance, but doesn't quite find it. Smile is a little too conscious for that one.
Yeah, but the thing is, the soldier behind has already killed the demo. That completely calls off any attempt at a push, and it actually makes this hold on mid a whole lot harder. Anticide might be able to walk this in for free. They might just be able to bully out the DTR team just because of that lack of a demo man, and AMS has already fallen.
Wow, managing to find a really nice kill that will allow them to again pressure on in. Without the scout, there's just not the defense for the med if the bombs start to come. Nikki's gonna go down, will actually trade, but with Pandemic getting cut away by Alien, it looks like that aggression isn't quite gonna come to fruition.
This game feels like it's been played at 100 miles an hour so far. There's constant back and forth across this mid, constant players being traded one for one. Either side, Granary gets a reputation of being a slow map, but this is anything but slow as we see Anticide already trying to take their way into Lunchbox. They're trying to wrap behind here somehow. There could be players caught on the island here from DTR in their own yard, but it seems like Anticide, they decide to back up and they decide to just kill everyone again. As Yuji gets those stickies on the retreat, and it's a drop onto Juxta.
Wow, I cannot believe that they just managed to, again, annihilate with those explosives the remaining players. And from there, I mean, yeah, Juxta's gonna die, right? When you've got so many players diving on forward. And really nicely played by Anticide. They're very good at capitalizing off the advantages they get and also looking for those turtles, especially on those mids. It's working out wonders for them.
I'm wondering there, when that drop came through from Hugie, where were those stickies placed? I actually didn't catch it on my end. I assume it was when they pushed aggro onto yard. They had like some sticky trap behind and caught Juxta retreating. I genuinely didn't catch it, but that deck gets 2 key combo players and a drop, and Hugie is, that's not the first time this has happened even this game. So really great work done once again by Anticide. Hugie first season on demo, at least at level, and has been having an absolute worldie of a season so far. But this time DTR want to try and get themselves back in. You said before, the soldiers are the ones to watch as they launch themselves in.
Oh, speaking of launch, Flick, it's very aggressive there. We'll just barely survive, wanting to try and pepper away. But both those scouts are oh so low, and both those scouts are oh so gone. Really nice capitalization again from Anticide, as the health just wasn't there. They got a little bit too aggressive. A DTR, they might even lose. They do even lose their medic for it. Disaster scenario, 96%. Not even the force, and that is almost certainly going to be a round going the way of Anticide if they just can't stop them.
The synchronized rockets from Ryan and Mechanic there onto the shutter door, just popping Juxta up. It must feel awful if you're that medic in that scenario. Your momentum is just killed completely as you cannot get in through that door. And now we're in a very, very comfortable situation. Now, ANTICIDE already 2 rounds up and already with a full Uber ad to fling themselves into last.
Yeah, Sentry's gone. They're going to get on the edge of that point. The time is ticking away. The soldiers jump on in to try and find that space. He's just going to take him down as Anti-Flip, starting to get a little bit more aggressive. But look at that time with just one person dropping on. With a leg of time could do it. They can continue to fight. It's combo versus combo right now. But there's the reinforcement. Pandemic really wants to try for it, but I think Theos makes the right choice and backs the heck out of there.
Yeah, that's a really nice hold there from the 2 scouts eventually. Like you mentioned, there was players, bodies from both these teams just hurling themselves at the point, trying to get that last bit of cap over the line. But the defense was there just enough. And DTR, they're living to fight another day, but this push out into yard has not gone exactly swimmingly as they've already lost a player. And Medics and Ryan, they're already on the flank.
Yeah, they are in place, in position, looking for a chance to blow things wide open. You can see that the combo lever is starting to move through here. They just use the Uber. They catch both of them instantly here. And Yuji's not quite so far away. Does just barely survive with the rest of their team. As Steels is going to be happy and very much sitting pretty with that one. With the Uber ad now, Pandemic is putting up a little bit of a fight and actually manages to keep yard for their team. I'm kind of surprised by that.
Yeah, there's only 4 players up, and I guess it's kind of hard to tell if you're on a DTR how close Theos is to getting this Uber charge. The Uber charge is up now, and this is a pretty serious advantage. 50% ad. Yes, second point has to fall. They probably won't have the time to milk this into second and go last. So this is all about, can we see a recreation of what we saw before with Pandemic running in from top lobby and catching 2 frags? We're going to see an attempt at it at least.
Rushing again through. There comes the Uber with Smile down. They are players up, but they're not going to make this push into last, especially with all that spam coming. I'm honestly shocked that Mechanic is still alive for now. There's the Uber coming right on back. Pandemic just cannot seem to get hit. Finally pulls. But that's just going to be position held for ANTICIDE. They're going to back out if they need to. Keep those players alive. Keep that Uber ad. It's got 10, but they might be able to find a good opportunity. If they set up well with Ryan going down, they're definitely going to have to cede more space as this combo starts to be a little bit more precarious.
Honestly, that kill onto Ryan there is really important there, because this is like you say, it's slight decide, but like the positioning for DTR in their own last day did not look good at all. The fact they catch that one soldier retreating means they're able to get themselves a foothold into the second point, and now they're able to try and get it locked down somewhat. And like we say, we know there's a bit of advantage. Theos will know this, because of Juxta using a little bit later beforehand. So now they're thinking about, will they go in, will they try and bust this through? They're waiting a bit too long. I don't think it's on the table anymore.
Yeah, it's completely even now, and you can see the Uber is coming on out. They trade instantly. Will have to be an extra flash, but Pandemic, pretty decent dodging. That's going to be much of an advantage, if anything at all. So they're just going to back out, and go straight to resetting and building up those Ubers again for this second.
There's something poetic about watching like the arms trade, right? Just like the single scout runs in, it just like pops the players like in order. It's like whack-a-mole now, and the players that aren't flashed, and like no one like dies. Obviously sometimes players die, but here like no one dies. Like the med gets back out to safety and stuff, and you just go and build up the Ubers again. It's like, I don't know, it's just a bit of fun, a bit of an excursion out of the point there from arms. But now they are taking a fair bit of damage in. Because ANTICIDE, they want to amp up the pressure. They want to try and maybe squeeze their way in.
Ooh, they try a little bit too hard to squeeze in there and get their hands caught in the cookie jar. Both flank players off the board. They're going to have to back out here pretty quick. Mechanic might get caught as well. Should be in a decent position to just, well, get out of dodge. Just the rest of their team is back in towards here. Just managing to survive there. The scout up in their face, and you can make it out of that with, well, pretty decent health now off the back of that dart. They're going to start to pressure in through the choke here, wanting to go aggressive. Pandemic is popped right as the Uber does. That's disastrous, and that means this is not a trade. This is just a loss of Uber.
And Hughes will comes in to try and salvage this. Ryan finally going to come in and get the force. But 3 players have died for this force. This should have been an Uber trade. And ANTICIDE, they are down 3 of their classes here, trying to hang on into this middle point. And they're even going to get out alive. Mechanic's already gone down. Medic's taken week 2. And the momentum might be turning slightly in the favour of DTR. Just for a moment, can't get ahead of ourselves. Uber charge is still even. Theos, although Pandemic got dropped in the Uber, did use at roughly the same time as Juxta, so they can't run this too far forward. But now, for the first time in what feels like 10-15 minutes, DTR are the ones maybe on the offensive.
Yeah, they've not got a lot of time to work with, but they definitely can make it happen if they start to roll here. A lot of damage going back and forth.
Ryan.
Those soldiers on a lot. As you said, Ryan goes down. UG goes down. Nikki doing exactly what their team darn well needs. This is going to be back into second, and they are going to likely have to give this up. With no demo and only one soldier, what are you really going to be able to do here? They are going to trade. That is the answer. They actually take down Juxta. Huge play coming out, 99% Uber. That's not a drop, that's just unfortunate. And the rest of these players, they feed in, trying to make something out of a dire situation. But it's nothing. DTR are too late.
That was crazy stuff. I was saying they can play it like it's about even. There was a tiny ad to work with, and it's an ad that ANTICIDE are going to grab with both hands. 99%. It does not get closer than that. Imagine your Juxta there just spamming the right mouse button, trying to get the Uber to come up, but it is not there. And now DTR are going to have to do this the hard way, using their medic again on the push in, but at the cost of 3 frags. This is maybe not the end of the world, actually, for DTR. If they want to go into chaos mode, if they want to start trying to collapse in onto this second point, and maybe an Uber charge out of Theos, maybe get a kill onto one of these key impact classes over on ANTICIDE, as Ant's gone in and died, but bought a heck of a lot of ground for that death. Now second point has actually somehow flipped over to DTR.
Yeah, no, honestly, really impressed by the way they're happy to use these players as currency to find that space, and loving the aggression from them. I think is a big part of what makes DTR such a fun team to watch here, but unfortunately it's not quite happening for them. Smile does survive, but Nikki does not, as already going to force them off. Smile is waiting here, looking for a chance to maybe get something. UG is there. Smile is going for the back cap. He's gonna go for it. They're gonna have to head back as quickly as possible, but jumps away. Doesn't want to give away their position just yet. Menex spots them. Smile. They can see that players are converging on the location. Too darn low. Not enough time. And DTR, it's ticking away. 5 minutes on the clock.
The thing is, though, this was Uber ad for ANTICIDE. And like that play behind from Smile, that bought about 10, 15, maybe even 20 seconds there. And now the Ubers are even again. Juxta has Uber. Like that was mission success completely for DTR, as they managed to stabilize their position on mid. But like you say, 5 minutes to play. Gonna be a bit of a rush, but definitely possible.
Definitely. Mechanic gets aggressive, quite low here. Theos has to pop early, wants to try and get something. Does get the trade at the very least, and will start to get out of there. Doesn't lose too much, but trades one for two as UG goes down as well. Losing that demo is just so brutal, and means that their second is not going to look particularly hot either. Aggression coming on through to try and get something more. They will get Pandemic, but they're going to cut their losses and head back to last. ANTICIDE do not want to lose this medic.
Absolutely not, and Theos took a whole host of damage trying to retreat out there, so he's going to have to run all the way back into that spawn and just to try and be safe. And look at DTR, they haven't even capped second yet. They only want to walk in, and they only want to try and cause some hurt for the ANTICIDE players. There is a heavy on medics, it's a bit tougher to barge in. That minigun behind that box is so hard to deal with. And how long can DTR stay in front here? They're really trying their best. They got flicking onto their medic, onto Theos, can't land the final shot. What an opportunity!
Oh, that could have been huge, but the Uber's leaving nothing for them right now. 3.5 minutes on the clock. Another failed push. Disaster for DTR as they just can't seem to find a break. You're going to see a chance for Smile here to do something, but it's just not there. They're just going to have to back out, and back to mid it is. It's looking done.
Beef, man. I've seen this in third-person flight command, so I don't know how much ammo is left in the clip or whatever. All I know is that Theos was incredibly weak, and Flick was right next to him.
Oh,
it could have been and Theos didn't have Uber. That could have turned completely on its head, but now it's ANTICIDE the ones walking forward. There's 3 minutes on the clock. There's almost not enough time for a comeback now at this point. Maybe it is just about doable mathematically, but the Uber charge advantage is with ANTICIDE. Despite losing players, they're walking forward. Pandemic has been on a tear this map so far in these Ubers, and it's already taken ground.
They haven't even taken mid. They're getting back capped here. Flick. UG. It's something
Redemption
would
play, the
potentially
redemption
win, but Ryan's coming, buddy. I don't think you're going to make it happen, unfortunately. There you go. Mid, however, given up off the back of it. So overall, a good choice from Flair.
Yeah, you've got to go for these plays with such little time on the clock. You really have to do what you can to get yourself back into this game. And yeah, with 2 minutes 18 on the clock, yeah, I'm not too hopeful, but they've got to go for it, right? You've got nothing better to do than to try and make this push as work. As Ams walks in with the Uber, in behind is Juxta, but actually it's going to be not getting anything in the way of frags. Ryan up above is going to discourage these players to walk any further forward, and Ryan actually decides, you know what, I'm just going to jump in anyway. Gets 2 frags onto the combo, 4 people falling in total. Ryan, a great collapse there.
Yeah, I mean, we've really been seeing some brilliant soldier work today on all sides, and it really has been pretty obvious. In particular, Mechanic and Nikki are the players who I'm really thinking of, but it's been off the back of really great coordination with their opposite numbers, with mine, with Smile, and I've been loving to see it from both teams. And I mean, that's one of the great things you get to see about Granary here, and it's going to be another mid fight here as they're looking to try and contest away. It's a jump that doesn't quite commit towards it. Hugie, however, goes long with that Uber. They really wanted to get that aggression in.
Yeah, they may as well, right? We're into what I probably call garbage time at this point. You may as well go for these sort of aggressive, flamboyant Ubers. And yeah, Hugie does take a lot of ground, and the players now on DTR completely caught, isolated from their escaped doorways. Now DTR, it's 3-1 for now. It might... They've got time for another. They're going to have to get a force out onto Juxta in the meantime. Lots of forward spawns come through, so I doubt either team is getting around really in this time, but it's possible. It's possible if they go very aggressive.
We've seen some miraculous moments so far this game. Juxta just barely living here, over on 20 HP. Really nice aggression coming through, but it just doesn't quite make it happen. But as much as DTR are probably happy they at least won that fight, not quite going to go their way, as any extra aggression is met with, well, scattergun right to the face.
Now, the last few moments of this game will be spent in yard here over on the Anticide side of the map. DTR really trying to push this one home, really trying to get a last one on the board, but they don't have midpoint yet, so this is all just for logs, just for the fun of the game. Anders and Smile, last 2 up here in the fight. Going to win the fight out against Ryan and onto Menix, so that'll look good in the logs. But unfortunately for them, Anticide will run away with this one 3-1. And what a dent this has put into the playoff hopes of DTR.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, right? DTR, they do technically have a long shot. I'm sure like someone could do all the maths and be like, well, technically if this happens and this happens and this happens,
that's normally my
okay.
job.
But it's not, it's unlikely. And I think part of that involves them beating Witness, right?
Oh yeah,
which
at this point, I think they mathematically have to beat Witness 6-0 to get playoffs, right? Like maybe not crazy, but what a close game. Honestly, like 3-1, like that could have been rather different, right? There was a couple of really key moments there throughout that game, and like the 2 I want to point out is the 2 with the medics, right? We had a tale of 2 unfortunate moments, right? There was the one where Juxta gets caught on 99%. To the pandemic solo Uber just trading in onto the second point, and Juxta just gets caught out, and that ends up spiraling into a round in the favor of DTR. And then when it was like kind of last chance saloon for getting back into the game, Theos, I want to see the replay. I want to know how much health Theos was on, because from my end it did not look like a survivable situation at all.
No. For
Anticide's medic, but somehow clings on to life and gets out that Uber charge eventually. With about, 5 minutes left, if that round falls, maybe there is time, but it's not to be.
Honestly, I'm always impressed by these Prem medics and just what they're able to do in surviving some of these. And, sometimes people are like, I was just a beef coming out from the player, but it's that movement, man. It's that movement.
Oh, it is.
And I'm honestly blown away by Theos in that game. Absolutely, as you say. We saw a lot of bombs aiming directly for their head. And same on the other side of Juxta, actually, to be honest with you. And people were just living. They were just living.
Yeah, and we see as well, like the mid fights, right? Like obviously Granary's got a reputation, right? The mid fights are like hell for a medic, right? Is you just sort of go into them expecting to die. But I think honestly both Juxta and Theos in the mids, they played it like I know we saw, obviously, they're going to get caught sometimes, right? But like they were playing it intelligently. They as the game went on, they counter-stratted for the previous mids that either of the teams had put out. And that was great to see. It's good to see that the strategies evolve as the game goes on. We saw those double high bombs working really well for the first mid for DTR, but then the second time around it doesn't work as well. So they try and adapt. They play it a bit slower. They try and get someone onto enemy catwalk, and they just sort of evolve, and that's really good. Really good to watch. But like the medics again, like you say, both had great games.
Yeah, no, and I think that is amplified by the fact that we saw so many soldiers have great games as well. As I said before, in particular, Nikki and Mechanic were on a tear. It was really lovely to see, and I love to see some successful soldiers. But yeah, with the fact that these meds were doing so well is really a testament to their skill. So
I will confirm. I have just had a little peep, and Mechanic is blank according to my stats. So they might, if any admins are watching this, this has been something talked about a little bit, hasn't it? But yeah, I thought it would be blank, given that blank's like the main pocket soldier for this team. But I wasn't sure, right? And I don't have the config on. But yeah, no, it is. We can confirm it is blank.
Yeah, they're in now as blank. So.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, awesome. Great, that makes things a little easier. Oh, brilliant. But that's not surprising, right? There is that coordination between these players, and you can kind of tell, right, from the way they play, that is blank. I'll be real with it. I blanked on it and was like, yeah, I'll just say Mechanic because that's what's on my screen.
But I don't want to be like mega wrong and like someone said, "Oh, it isn't blank. It's so and so who they got as a merc or something," right? Like,
yeah,
the soldier play was great from Man's side again, and it's I don't know, it's weird, right? Because I don't know, both these teams, like if I'm looking at the players in these teams, I think genuinely 9 of these players, like their most known class is Scout, right? Like across both these teams, like I think all but 1 or 2 of these players has played a season of Prem on Scout in the last few years. It's just stacked with Scout mains, but really like I say, it was the soldiers, right? Blank and Ryan having great games. Hugely the conversion to Demo Man, just it's been getting better and better as the season's gone on, and that might be interesting to see coming over onto a map like Bagel, very Demo Man focused, or it can be on certain days. And Hugely has had a bit of fun this season so far on moving over to Demo Man class, and Bagel can be a map where you can have a really big impact. So I'm interested to see what Hugely's cooking up.
Yeah, I actually think that's a really interesting thing to bring up about Bagel, because it really does depend on the way you play it, right? I think there's always that focus on combo on most maps, obviously. I think it's kind of an obvious thing to be saying, but in particular this map I think is quite heavy on it, but they're only allowed that space if the focus on the side houses are done adequately, if someone's pressuring them properly. So there's a lot of flexibility, and we saw, for example, at the start of the season just how much it's changed, right? Because I think in particular for Fence, I mean they kind of schooled Witness Gaming over on Bagel. It was really interesting to see, and I think it kind of demonstrates that, yeah, you've got these players who are absolutely talented and have really put in the work, but within the last couple of years, they weren't quite there, they weren't quite around within the last couple of seasons, and it showed. I think in particular on Bagel, it was really, really evident.
I've never seen. I know this isn't the game I'm watching. Right? We're not watching Full Offensive. We're not watching Witness. Right? But it's worth talking about, right? Because it's the same map. I think.
Yeah.
I think I've never seen Thomas shut down like that before, ever, in any game.
It's the side houses, man. They're so scary.
Honestly, I bet every other team in Prem has gone and watched that demo 10 times over, and they've worked out everything Full Offensive was doing, and they all now know the blueprint to how to really restrict the options for an enemy combo, and particularly we saw Thomas was in trouble, Lucas as well, a player that's known for being probably the best demo man in Prem, just not able to get the impact. And the houses were under great control, the soldiers in particular taking great just the clamp, right? You can't stand anywhere, you can't do anything when you're getting flanked like that.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see whether we have any of that present here in, this rendition, what these guys are going to be playing. So I'm definitely interested to see how the aggression from Pocket Scouts in particular AMS and kind of the rest of them. How AMS plays this map, because I think that sometimes being aggressive popping the scout on this map is insanely dangerous, especially against some talented demos like we've seen so far. Early aggression, though! Ryan and Eugene gone! As he just died for them!
Did we forget to tell them that this isn't Granary anymore? Like, the aggro mid, but they do not care at all to the DTR side. They just walk in completely. Look at these frags. Did 5 people die there?
Yeah, wow. I mean, look, when I'm thinking DTR, I'm thinking aggro, for sure. But that was another level, just completely shoving the left house, denying that soldier away, and then catching the demo is so integral. As we said before, a major key point for this map. Obviously the game in general, but just so pivotal.
Yeah, and now they get the first forward hold of the game underway, but it hasn't lasted too long. Flick went aggro in lobby and got caught out, and there was no trade forthcoming there onto Ryan. As now the AMS Uber comes in the solo trade, nearly gets the frag onto Hugie, but the flash is just in time from Theos. Ryan going all the way behind. We are into chaos. We love Bagel for this exact reason. There's players all over the shop as the recollapse in this post. Uber can come in. Who is going to survive?
AMS is so aggressive, man. Completely disconnected from their team, but you can smell blood in the water. Unfortunately, didn't realise that he was the one who was bleeding. Bit brutal for them to see as, again, this contest on the mid is going to come through. Nikki jumps back behind, trying to catch someone out. The Pandemic will not let that one happen. However, that's given the space for their team to get the cap and start to really solidify their control. TG and Pandemic are going to have to do some magic to really free things up.
Yeah, the one problem they've got there with Nikki trying to go behind, I get the logic, you want to cut off the retreat, but it means that he just gets the spawn denied, so now he's going to be so slow back into this fight, and it means the rest of the team are now left in such an awkward situation, already losing AMS, trying to maybe sack in, trying to get in onto the medic, they're pumping it onto Theos and gets the force in Nikki. Great redemption.
For sure, I'm really impressed with that one.
What the drop?
Yeah, oh, wow.
What?
How did that, who got that?
Bagel, I don't know, Bagel is just chaos.
Oh man, presumably he was behind or something. I didn't see actually.
I didn't catch it at all. Well, now the DTR, they're going to have to work with what they've got. It's roughly even on the Uber front at least, because Theos forced to that bomb in from Nikki. So they can perhaps look to force this one forward. They can look to start getting some time on the point as the timers do equalise out. But yeah, it was potential to be a great situation there, but Juxta just gets caught completely and already taking a load of spam from Blank.
Yeah, Alien takes a lot of damage as well, has to be very careful. Blank does go down in the end, but they trade it with Nikki, so it's not all doom and gloom. They're going to continue to hold the point here. Pandemic atop that central pillar will be able to keep relatively healthy. So they're looking for that aggression, really want to catch one of these players off guard. They do indeed. They take down Smile and Alien and Flick. They do lose Hugie in that chain exchange. It is going to have to be an exchange coming through here of the Ubers to try and keep that med alive. You can see AMS is trying to catch someone, get something going, as there are players absolutely in their backline. But it's going to be Pandemic and Theos to manage to keep control of the point and back out sensibly.
There's a question there of almost like sacking players for cap time, right? We saw Ryan, we saw Menix in particular, and Hugie to be fair with Uber, go very aggressive there, just forcing DTR players back, which does get them more cap time, but it basically guarantees that the point will be flipping over into the red straight afterwards. Ryan is all the way behind. I really thought there was a chance there could have been some heroics there, but not to be. There's only so much damage you can do to an Ubered scout. So now the collapse comes back through again. ANTICIDE already catching 1-for-1 over on the flank. That'll be working out in their favour nicely, and Flick falling too. These house players are just, they're working out in the favour of ANTICIDE every single time.
Yeah, AMS trying to keep control there, but unfortunately Juxta just not able to keep them healthy because of the aggression that was coming on through. They're going to have to back off. Smile jumps in to try and maybe get a farewell gift, but it's not happening. Uber is now even on both sides. It's going to be a relative, well, it's going to be a forward hold coming out from the side of ANTICIDE.
Yeah, with even Ubers as well, they're going to try and burst their way in, and they don't want to mess about at all here on DTR, taking the Uber charge in on AMS instantly. Going to be actually getting a Demoman frag in the midst of that. Going to be great for any kind of post fight. And with Medics falling on the flank, there is real chance here for players to come through. And Theos actually getting caught by AMS too.
Oh wow, manages to find that. Again, I mean, AMS really does have that killer instinct sometimes, and that aggression pays off for their team right now. It's going to be overtime, so only one cap really needed now for the for ANTICIDE. So DTR are going to have to be very, very careful.
Yeah, you got to be extra careful when you've got Blank all the way behind in your own lobby. They are aware of it. There's been some players turning around. They know that Blank is somewhere behind. But like a forward hold when you've got to basically have an eye on your 6 the whole time is potentially a little bit rough. Blank, the one to watch out for here, coming over towards the concrete, trying to just be a nuisance, trying to drag some eyes and trying to buy some space for the rest of the team to get in. Menix gets in, but he's taken down as quickly. Lion Smile on the concrete, and now both soldiers are behind. Okay.
They do take down Nicky, so they're going to be able to set up a little bit of a camp here. Uber coming on through, that's likely going to be huge. He going down, just barely kept alive. Great split of the Uber there to do that, and oh no, sorry, actually he did die, I didn't notice, but it's going to have to be a lot of aggression to get through
they all
here.
died?
And the demo is just cutting it apart. That Uber from Theos is nothing. It didn't even remotely save anyone other than themselves.
Everyone dies. This game is it's wild. It's absolutely wild. I thought that was ANTICIDE's moment. Get back in once their own Uber was back up. Theos survived the onslaught originally, but now it's ANTICIDE that are going to have to put the onslaught on. 3 seconds left. They have to get some cap time. But all the players here are blocking this point over from DTR. They're trying to hang on as best as they can. Can any meaningful cap time come across? AMS going to be taken down. Uber charge not quite ready yet from Jux. The bombs come in, trying to get players off the point here from the blue side. Uber charge finally up on Flick, and this might be the nail in the coffin. Can they get the frags? Can they hang on for any longer? Hugie goes down, Theos goes down. Last 2 players up to try and salvage something. Menix is alive for quite a while. Might buy enough time for the spawn wave to get here, and actually catching one into Flick, this might still have life in it.
It might indeed. There is going to be 2 versus 3, but they get back on point. Pandemic is cut away instantly, and Ryan doesn't last much long either. Really nicely done by, well, DTR, just showing that aggression, being so fruitful here on Bagel.
I remember like 2 minutes ago, this was overtime for ANTICIDE, and DTR had like what 1 minute 20 on their cap. Like it was a really long time they had to hang on to, and that like overtime at the end that lasted another 30 seconds or so. Great work.
Yeah, really, really nicely done, and honestly, I'm so impressed by the fact that they managed to keep away quite a lot of aggression, and I really thought that maybe that kill from Menix could have potentially solidified it, but it doesn't happen. Pandemic taking a lot of damage early on here, but it is Flick the first one who falls, and Smile is oh so low, will at least trade out in the right house. That left is wide open, however, and Menix plus Blanc are just going to make it happen. Aggression onto Pandemic with Huggy gone. Yuchi gone, sorry, that is going to be brutal. Again, needs to be more careful about their position. We've seen a lot of drops onto these demos come through in the past couple of games, and it's pretty brutal.
When the Ubers aren't quite ready as well, that's when you're at the most danger. You're playing aggro, you want to get the most out of Uber when it comes up, but the Uber just wasn't there. And again, credit to AMS once more, playing this point to absolute perfection. I know he said in the interview he thinks he's playing at his career best form, and now he's making it count. Another solo trade into the entire enemy combo, causing just the one flash onto the scout this time around, but he's going to escape and maybe get Juxta out. Nice serve there onto the hut, but now point will be perhaps flipping it over into the blue as ANTICIDE look to get themselves into the round, but not if these soldiers have anything to say about it.
Yeah, nicely played by Alien as well, getting that, but Flick tries, does get the med. And that is huge again for DTR. They're finding these little edge cases and really reaping the reward.
Yeah, really nice work. Flick just snuck through the house. The perfect timing there to get that kill in onto Theos. And now, player advantage again up with DTR. This cap has come through for ANTICIDE, but like, how much time are they realistically going to get for this, right? It's Uber Dissad, spawner advantage, going with DTR, and yeah, they don't even want to hang on to this. They don't have the spawners there. Only going to get 16 seconds of cap time, and with Uber Dissad as well, they have to be so damn careful. A Demoman or a Scout could just be landing Ubered in the face of their entire combo at any moment. ANTICIDE just have to wait this one out.
They do. They've got to be way more careful. A lot of damage on the Pandemic again as they try and step up, and I'd really like to give big kudos to Alien for just pumping it out left, right, and center. Sure, Ams is the one getting the kills, yeah, but the one who's setting it up, 100% Alien. He's playing out of this world right now.
Yeah, we said before the impact that Demo's going to have just controlling the space on this point as Pandemic actually goes down. Theos was 97%, didn't get the memo that they didn't quite have an Uber to use. Now look at the space being taken. They're already clamping down on Lobby. Ryan, the last one to be jumping away. We are into forward hold territory, and forward hold even Ubers. Look at the timers. It's double the amount of time on the ANTICIDE clock as on the DTR one. DTR really back this series.
Uber's going to come out right away. They catch Jobster! That's the kind of aggressive play we need to see from ANTICIDE right now. Not quite getting the aggression that they needed earlier on in this map, but it's happening now. Pandemic will just about, does get it. So that's a soldier down as well. They're going to get the point. This is exactly what they needed. Try and cut away some of that time and start to chalk up some of their own.
Yeah, they've got a lot of time to cut down, right? It's like 2 whole minutes they're down on the clock. But an Uber advantage and a forward hold, like this is about as good of a situation as you could dream of given the clock situation, right? They really want to get some minutes down on this clock, doing a whole lot of damage there on the sack wave players, trying to come through, and he actually forces Theos. Gonna feel pressure to using that Uber charge, but it's now a case of will just get out alive. Ryan wants to make it not the case. He bombs in all the way around to spawn. Surely the pistol, finally goes down.
Yeah, Hugie gets caught again there, which can be pretty brutal. That timer is going to mean that his aggression could definitely come through that right-hand side from the large door. They're going to begin to push on up right now. Small takes a lot of damage, yes, but provides the space for their teams. They begin to step a foot upon that mid right now. You can see the pressure starting to come on in. Those sticks to try and cut some of those players off. That time wants to be there. Pandemic wants to try and stop it, but it just can't happen, buddy. A lot of damage coming through. That's going to be them absolutely slamming their heads again. Juxta goes down. Way too aggressive with that Uber, way too precarious positions, and they lose everything for that gamble.
And what do they realistically get other than like 20 seconds on the point?
Yeah.
Like 20 seconds on the point is it, right? They don't get an Uber, they don't really get any meaningful picks either. Like that was a real gamble, and I respect it, right? Like if you think the opponents are out of position, but the Uber took a second or so to get going from the point, and at that point, like the ANTICIDE team managed to back up into lobby. They managed to survive, and they managed to come recollapse in. But let me say now, like this, we're in a pause, right?
Mm-hmm.
The time is going to be 1:48 for ANTICIDE with Uber ad again, versus I think this is probably going to be about 15-20 seconds over for DTR. Like, do you see ANTICIDE getting back into this?
Well, they have the Uber ad. If they can forward hold here, get a bit of an advantage going, I think that they can make it happen. I'm going to be honest with you. But it's going to require them to really manage that aggression a little better. I think in particular, they need to be a little bit more defensive around Hugie. I think that him going down a lot is off the back of so much aggression coming out from DTR, and it's not being managed properly. If they can handle it a little better, they really can just completely start to shut this down in a way that I think we kind of saw over on Granary. But, actually shutting down this aggression is not so easy, right? It's about a lot of awareness, and I think right now Bagel's looking real chaotic, and it makes it very difficult to do so.
Absolutely, and last time we were in this situation, like a minute or two ago, right, with it being Uber ad, it was a forward hold for ANTICIDE. They were forced within about 15 seconds. Like, the DTR players were just so confident to just start, like, waltzing through the choke points and just get straight in onto Theos, right? Like, they've got to have an answer to that, in my opinion. Like, you can't be getting forced that easily from players just bursting out onto your demo from concrete. Yes, Yuji got caught as well in the midst of that. So the thing is going to have to change, because this has been a bit of a turnaround from map number 1. 1-0 already for DTR. This could and, let's say, probably should be 2-0 after the end of this round. And we're going to have to see some kind of fight back. Pause finishes, and I'm just going to have a quick check on the time. I'm going to have to refresh my HUD. 17 seconds on that red clock.
Yeah. It's going to be that forward hold that we were talking about coming on through here. Good damage. Trying to keep them away, but it's that burst out through the left-hand side. They take 2 down in response 4-2, but keep in mind, that's going to be a player disadvantage. I think my thing's broken. It's showing Juxta is dead, but they are still alive. As the aggression has petered out a little bit. Flick does get the force, however, I didn't even see him, and I'm in 3-cam. Like, the chaos really is reigning here, and that's where DTR are thriving.
ANTICIDE have to be more careful there. It's 3v3, they know they've got spawner disadvantage, and they're playing all 3 players on enemy concrete. And Flick is able to, like you said, walk out from grass and just get behind and get an easy force. Both soldiers now sacking in, trying to get something over towards Juxta. The force comes out, but is it really, can you call it a force if it gets 3 kills and gets you all the position? And there's 13 seconds left?
Yeah, it's very, very true right now, and you know, I was optimistic about them if they can really shut it down, but there was no shutting down, no nothing. They could not hold back. The unstoppable tide right now of DTR over here on Bagel, as they seem to be up to their capers. And they're going to sneak on through. They're going to catch a couple of those extra players and take the round in short order. That's 2-0, as you said. And I mean, look, we were talking about it was pretty much necessary for a 6-0 win for DTR to make it out here, right? To make it into playoffs. If they take at least one map here, I can see a one-map miracle, you know? I believe in the DTR one-map miracle.
It's possible, right? And that's the thing, you've got to fight on. You don't know what's going to happen on the rest of these games, and you've got to play as the best you can all the way through. And that's what DTR are doing, is they're sending Smile in instantly all the way behind, and their second soldier, Nicky's going to bomb it, and Flick as well. It's a repeat of the first mid, but like we saw on Granary, like ANTICIDE, they're adapting, they're learning, they're gaining knowledge as the game goes on, and they do not fall to the same pitfalls that they did in that first mid.
No Lamborghinis for them, only knowledge here as they managed to keep themselves alive. Love the fact that Menex went so low, standing on top of that pack right when the time came, kept themselves alive, and, well, helped keep their team alive as well. The aggression already looking at that right-hand side house. As you can see, Smile really wants to get something going there. They know it's integral to how they push, and Flick's already there, buddy. The Uber comes across the point, looking for the trade. They want to get an extra player, that extra credit. Hampus is always looking for it. He's hungry. But nothing comes of it just yet. They get a little bit of position. Flick is looking for a chance to strike right here. They're going to start to zone with those players. UG is alone right now. If someone wanted to try and jump him, no beam. Will get that arrow, will get back up to full health, and those trader players aren't all too important here. But we can Flick behind. No, nothing.
Yeah, the nice work from Flick there, like in the 2v2, won it out and was the last survivor, but just didn't have the sense of where the enemy combo would be. His own combo would back up all the way across to his side of the point, and it meant he was just walking in 1v3, and now, even despite Flick being late spawned, the rest of these kills are going to mean that it's going to finally be a recapture now for DTR. Look at these clocks, 1 minute and 12 seconds on that original hold from the blue side, as now we see another attempt at an Uber trade, but it might not be a trade at all because Theos doesn't have still a 95% Uber. Will the chase be off? Will they finally get this shot? Ams doesn't quite get it. Theos gets Uber but doesn't even have to use it.
I mean, brother saw blue and he really wanted it. They take up a couple of players, so it's not going to be much out of it, but that's the Uber coming out from Theos there. That's brutal yet again. I mean, it's been a good couple of forces here that just really are going to hamper ANTICIDE.
What's even better for DTR is that Nicky is the soldier that goes into enemy lobby to get that force, and Nicky lives. Nicky's back with the team now fighting. Like, Nicky just jumped all the way behind, came out from grass and just in through left house and just all the way back out, all the way around, went around the world completely. And now this is advantage this time. This is a definitely workable advantage. Juxta 90%, but look at the HP bars over on DTR. Flick falling as well. Can they even use this ad?
Yeah, no, they can. I mean, they could get players back up in a second. They should still have about maybe 30-20 ad if they're quick. Maybe 20-10 actually. So I don't know. It doesn't look very likely. Yeah, they just don't have the players in place in time.
Yeah, I'd say it's doom and gloom, right? But honestly, the last twice we've seen this exact situation, like DTR have just walked out and just made it work. And they are going to try and use the ad 96, 97, 98, 99, 100% for Theos, who wasn't in that big of pressure. And with two soldiers just... Oh, that's so funny to watch. The soldiers just explode as they land on Theos' head. Theos taken weak, but will not care at all as Theos is able to get the Uber charge out, kill both the soldiers, kill into Flick as well. And this is the round that Anticide need, right? They're a minute up on the clock, holding in a forward hold, trying to clamp down on DTR. But actually, they're walking very aggro into lobby here, and they are losing players.
Ooh, that med ate a little bit of the explosion there as well, so they're going to have to be very careful. Hams goes down. Nikki, however, is behind. He will go down as well. But importantly, Theos, yep, makes it up.
Very ambitious from Eugene. Very, very ambitious. I guess at that point, Eugene knows that he's not getting out, right? Like, he knows at that point you may as well go down as best as you can and try and take someone else with you. But it's not going to be the case, as now slight Uber advantage in the way of Anticide. They aren't out of this round yet. It's a minute deficit on the timer, but this Uber ad's going to last a little bit longer, and we've seen in that first round how things can turn completely in the final minute. As now Anticide look to start capping this point.
Oh, I've been loving the aggression. That is going to be a force coming on out, and that's what I love from AMS and Co. As they just see an opportunity and they're like, okay, well, let's go for the trade. Let's go for the force. Let's get what we can. They lose a couple of players here. They importantly take down that demo, who is going to be not quite on the reduced spawn, as their players are the ones who are going to lose out here. That trade, over-aggressive and really going to... No, what? I cannot believe Ryan even finds Juxta. Yeah, this is disastrous for DTR.
This honestly just should be round done just here.
Oh, yeah.
Ryan gets all the way behind from right house, completely unchecked, and just lands in lobby for the easiest 2 rockets ever. Like, actually melee hits with the rocket launcher. Just like bunks Juxta on the head with the tip of the rocket launcher, right? Like, it's completely over there for the DTR medic. The one thing they've got going for them though on DTR is that Theos doesn't quite have yet either, so they can burst through quick, maybe. Or maybe not, because they are getting absolutely functional grass.
Yeah, they are not able to get through that one at all. And it's even going to be an Uber ride for Theos here. It's just not happening. And that's a really nice chance for Anticide, right? Because things were looking pretty dire. Honestly, with the way some of this aggression was going, the fact that we kept on seeing or pretty much everyone catch either Theos's Uber or catch out Hugie. I really thought this was going to be it for them. I thought it was really death knells, but I'm impressed. They managed to hold out, and if they can start to put that one into practice a little bit more, they're likely going to go this one out 3-2.
Yeah, it's possible, right? Because I guess it partially obviously they need that round obviously because if they lose it, they're going to lose the series, right? That's like that's the obvious bit, but also the confidence build it comes, right? Like they won that in a pretty confident, like not really competitive way towards the end. So they're coming around to this 4th round with raised spirits for sure. As now they're certainly getting aggressive once more on the DTR side, but it seems to be working out a little bit better. Both these scouts they're caught in close quarters. Ryan is super easy pickings there for the soldier against the scouts. Just tight corridors, not the scouts' best area. As now they're going to have to run all the way back out here over on DTR. A bit of acrobatics there from Smile trying to get back in. Will be plucked out of the sky, and Anticide, they're rolling on, they're continuing the momentum.
Yeah, they do manage to keep it up, at least for now. Those pipes start to come on through. They do land some decent damage, but not quite going to lead anywhere just yet. Pandemic and Hugie continuing to contest right now. They got that early advantage. AMS is so aggressive. Gets the force, but it will be a return force to keep their Bucket Scout alive and well, to try and contest that control. Trying a little bit of aggression of their own. They take down the soldier and Pandemic. And Theos just, no! Theos goes down! Flick hunts him down like a heat-seeking missile there. Sets up their team. The opportunity they need is what you would think, but Juxta fell in the middle of that as well.
I kind of don't like that Uber at all from DTR, right? They go in and like Theos's Uber just runs straight past them and they start dropping players in their own concrete, and the plan is, oh, this is fine so long as we kill Theos at the end, and they do kill Theos, but that's only worth something if they're able to keep Juxta alive, and Juxta dies about 1 second later. So the Uber is all for nothing. They lose a lot more time on the point, but what is kind of worth it is the fact that A, Juxta got a faster spawn, so there is a tiny bit of ad, and B, the rest of the blue players also got delayed spawners, so the point is able to flip back into the red. We're playing flip-flop at the moment as ANTICIDE might be capping it back.
Oh, Ryan could go down here. Flick actually is the one who falls. That right house still in control of the blue side. ANTICIDE make it happen, but there's that Uber and there's a team who loves Uber and, oh, you best believe it's DTR who really want to make that happen. The Star barely dies. So close to making that one happen. But yeah, as I said, DTR are a team who adore Uberad. Even if it's only like 10, they will use it. Promise you. I promise you.
Absolutely, and again, like, they go in, they kill absolutely everyone, but once more, the collapse is in. Ryan and Blank getting in on to Juxta at the end of that fight, and with the faster spawners, this is actually, again, another 20 add, but this time it's the reverse, it's ANTICIDE who are going to be in the advantageous situation, capping up the point now, taking some space, taking some ground, and trying to get a lockdown on this point. As actually, maybe it's not all going to plan, because Right House might be falling early.
Yeah, he's out on it a little bit, but it's not quite going to happen just yet. Pandemic still on top. UG is out alone, goes down yet again. Hams sees a demo, kills a demo. That's his MO. So he's going to be able to try and provide their team with a little bit of that spam advantage right now, but they're going to have to play a lot slower, and I think very sensibly so. ANTICIDE are starting to be a little bit careful about it. Only the combo really providing here a little bit of backup from Ryan to try and keep that going. The Uber trade looking for a chance here. We want to try and get it. They get Alien, but
isn't even a
don't
trade.
get anything else. They're not going to get that Uber. They do actually manage to get their med out, but Juxta is going to look at this one and go, oh, I'll take that.
Yeah, really intelligent play from Juxta and the rest of the combo here from DTR. Able to just kite it all the way back. Knew the Uber charge would likely be coming in from Pandemic and Theos, and just decided we're going to make sure at the perfect moment we're going to back up. We're going to use just a physical visual blocker in the middle of the map that is the control point, just to make it so that we can cover our own escape. And Theos getting caught on the retreat as well. Flick, what is this?
Oh man, I cannot believe that Flick continues to get away with literal murder. I'm honestly so impressed by the angles that he's finding.
Oh my. Well, ANTICIDE want to fling back in, they want to try and get a force out in onto Juxta. Flick going to fall early this time around. You've got to be careful here on ANTICIDE. An Uber charge could land in their face at any moment. Theos is a long way away from being able to go shiny himself. As DTR, they're ready to go. Anyone steps forward across the invisible line, and they will be running into their faces.
As you said before, a lot of aggression coming out from this team. You've got to be oh so careful. UG takes a lot of damage. Does get healed back up, same for Menex right now, as they are going to try and keep those players alive. They don't need much time to ANTICIDE, but DDR are not going to give it without any form of fight. Even a single second will not be there. There's the Uber trade, and they catch UG yet again in that Uber. And I'm loving this kind of separated style we're seeing from DTR. They're not putting their demo forward, constantly letting them sit back and then go, okay, well, we're going to take yours.
Yeah, really nice work, and again, the Uber charge is not quite quick enough. I don't think it'd be ready in time for Theos. It was really touch and go there. But Huge, like you say, once more, it's been a bit of a focal point of this game, getting caught out on the point by this aggression. And Amber's just running straight through this thing. He really wants to fight, just constantly thinking about how he can deal damage, how he can get in people's faces, how he can get in kills. And that just seems to be the philosophy that DTR are working on here, and they're going to have to make it work now, because this timer is ticking very low on the ANTICIDE half of things. They're just about keeping it above water, maybe looking for an Uber when he comes in, but Flick going out 1-for-1, this is getting messy.
It is indeed. Ham sees mess and he goes, alright, time to clean up. Uber goes through, they get a couple of players, but they do lose a little themselves. Their demo is gone as well, and the Uber, well, is going to be a little bit of an advantage, but Pandemic can't make that one happen. They've lost a couple of players themselves. We'll be able to redouble their efforts towards contesting here. It's going to be the overtime. They're going to have to commit towards it. Right now, DTR, they've got to fight for their right to move on through and take this map. But they've got to keep those players together. And with losing both their scouts, it's going to be ever so difficult. Alien taking a lot of damage. But there comes a little bit of reinforcement in the form of Smiley. But not for long. Alien gone, and so is Juxta. That's going to be DTR seeding another round.
That was on a knife's edge for so long. That's one of the, as end of round overtimes go, without a point flip, that's one of the longer ones I've seen. There was 2 entire spawn waves there of DTR players. Everyone got 2 turns at that final fight. But like you say, the play, particularly from Ryan, patching out some great frags over towards the house, just meant the flick couldn't get in. AMS was getting knocked around all over the place. And before we know it, ANTICIDE, they were 2-0 down moments ago, and now decided round for all the marbles. It's 2-2. Who is going to take this map of Bagel?
Yeah, Ryan already looking at that house on the left-hand side, trying for a chance to try and contest if they can, but no one's up there right now. A lot slower start here as that right is in control of ANTICIDE. When they're controlling the pace, so it is for sure slower. Flick's gone, so a lot of that threat behind is not quite so prevalent, but the threat in front is gone as well. As Pandemic is taken off the board. Uber instantly used here. They really want to make this happen with that scout, well, in play. They want AMS to just go absolutely ham, as they usually do. Aggression coming through here as Blank just jumps on in and takes down Juxta. Takes AMS as well. Really nicely done, and is going to provide some space for their team to use that Uber in a second, but that's still a long way off.
The timing from Blank is just impeccable, right? Coming straight in, absolute stopwatch perfect timing there to catch those fading players. Gets Juxta, gets AMS as well for good measure. That's also just a nice frag to get. But the all important one is that 100 Juxta. Going to give them a decent chunk of advantage. Let's say decent chunk. It's about 35 ad. Definitely something to be scared of if you're on ETR, especially in about 10 seconds time when Theos' Uber will be coming up. So it's going to be potentially rough. They decide they're going to cap this out anyway, and they are safe to do that because Theos doesn't have yet. But now they have to be careful as Uber charge hurls in.
Yeah, they're trying to use DTR's own strategy against them. See an Uber, use an Uber. Goes right on in, takes down AMS, but they lose quite a lot. And again, they lose Hugie. This is so brutal. They've not been able to keep him alive so much here on this map. And I think it's been a huge difference in why DTR have been able to perform on this in comparison to Granary.
I still they get Juxta again, right? And yeah, there's some time to go on the point, but I really don't like DTR. I know they're playing aggressive and it's fun and exciting, right? But they're playing aggressive when they're disard, and Theos was just able to walk back in. Yes, he was up in 2 more seconds time and they get completely collapsed on, but this time around, it might be ANTICIDE getting collapsed on because Smiley's in behind, getting massive damage over onto Hugie, who dies to fall damage. And actually, wait a second, there's only 2 players left up. Where's everyone else gone?
Man, they just got absolutely annihilated over the course of that. Again, DDR, blood in the water. They take down many. And they're going to be able to do this forward hold now, which is exactly where they like to be. Looking for something aggressively and playing from there.
Trying to burst their way out. Soldier Blank taken incredibly weak. The Uber charge comes out, but he's not ad anymore because AMS is able to be flashed by Juxta in this one, and that might just slow things down for a moment. But it does mean ANTICIDE able to get out of their own lobby, able to start walking up towards the point and taking some ground, and with this kill on just Smile, it's going to make it all the more easy.
Yeah, a lot to make happen here. Yeah, I'm going to be very careful. Yeah, there goes Alien. Pretty nice play from Ryan, and that is going to be big. But yeah, Nicky blows up Theos in the backline. Cannot believe he manages to find that yet again. And we've really been seeing a highlight of Soldiers over the course of these maps. It's been really impressive.
That's the thing with fast-paced TF2s. You get on Koth a lot, you get on Koth, especially between teams like this, is you just get so many great hype highlight moments from these players with everyone's wanting to go in, wanting to fight, go behind and go for things. And this time, it was Nicky's turn to go in and get the all-important kill onto Theos. And now with Uber charge advantage point nearly flipping over, will be flipping in a second. Not before this Uber charge has run all the way across the length of the map and got a lot of ground. Honestly, not got much of anything else here. Gonna get 2 frags, which is something, but these spawners are so fast when you don't have the point. This might get a bit dicey now. ANTICIDE, they're gonna have big ad.
Yeah, no, they really are. I mean, they're gonna have. I think it's about 50 coming through here, so they should be able to take back control over this mid right now, but they have to make sure they don't lose too much while it's happening. But these are messy fights. They lose 2 players instantaneously. Yes, they kill a lot of players, but either they have to cede a little bit more time or deny them. They don't really have a choice.
in the entire sack wave, Juxta was running back home by himself and wins out. Like, okay, not quite a full-on 1v1 against Blank. It was very, very close. Did get help from the scout returning, but that almost fell apart completely. It was a 5-man sack. But the problem with a 5-man sack is that your medic doesn't get the scout taxi. Blank almost going for the hero play there. But now, Timer's going to equalise out. Ubercharge is anything but even though. Juxta, big advantage, and we've seen what happens in these advantages. I don't even need to say it anymore. They're going to want to fling themselves forward once more.
Yeah, I mean, look where that medic is. Completely out of dodge. Does not want to muck around. Does not want to get caught. That's going to be a nice push through. They do get the demo, but that's kind of a given, right? If you were trying to build up any time there. So, just going to wait for UG to be up again.
Ryan?
It's not going to be much longer away. Ryan gets in, takes down Juxta! And talk about Uberad, that's over 100% here. I mean, it's going to end up being 100%. Flick is behind. So keep an eye on that one right now, as there's still some players up in this house. You can see Ams is trying to get aggressive. Actually gets the 4s, but it's not going to be a major ad. I think that's an important thing to note. Very low still is Theo, so be careful about that. There was a player behind. Flick does get taken down, but it's only going to be about 15 ad. But that's more than enough for DTR to use.
That shot from Blank's definitely going on the highlight reel. I think we caught it from the opposite perspective there on the stream. Really nice air shot there. Not going to matter too much, but now, like you say, all over to the crit streak. They just want to get this done as quickly as possible. 30 seconds left on that blue clock, but that's not going to matter if this crit comes in good. But it doesn't come in at all because everyone just dies.
Oh man, completely picked apart in the dying seconds here. This is so disastrous for DTR. They felt like they had it in their hands, but it seems to be slipping away. Flick is looking for a chance to get behind with some backup from Nikki here. That could be the all-saving play as you see Ams and the rest of the gang move towards that point. Try and get some time on it. Try and deny that one away, but it's going to hit overtime regardless. They are going to have to fight for it. The aggression comes through. They don't even get the cap here as it's going down oh so slowly. They want to get the cap, but the Uber's even going to come through to try and force them off to buy that space. They know how they need to use it.
This is actually just better for DTR though, right? They've got some cap time. As long as they can get back in, the Uber charge was completely toothless. It gets nothing, not even any damage. It just maybe gets them some space now as the recollapse can come in. DTR, they are not out of this. They have a crit streak in 2 more seconds, and the crit scatter gun down from Ams does not get too much point. They still can't really cap this. They don't want to be denying Ams, and now ANTICIDE, they will even let them capture this because they're still back in. Will these overtimes ever end? Every round feels like it's going this way every single time. ANTICIDE now with the advantage.
Yeah, they're going to push on through. Flick tries to get aggressive, but will be denied away. Medic tries to be hammer. Huge just no alien and jumps to fall. The soldiers from the side of ANTICIDE go huge. They cut away the roots of this team, and DTR just cannot get it over the finish line. Wow, what an ending to that game.
What a double bomb over the top. Like you say, Blank and Ryan synchronized to absolute perfection. Massive damage onto the combo. Alien and Juxta taken down instantly. And it's an awkward moment, right? Like there for DTR. They have to cap the point eventually. But as soon as you cap it, you're in massive disadvantage in terms of the spawners and also in terms of it gives ANTICIDE a way they can start capping it, but they can start threatening to end the game quickly with that cap rather than just having to sit there and wait for the decay to come through. But what a nail biter of a series. ANTICIDE, like the grit it takes to come back from 2 rounds down in such like I don't know. I said to you like at the end of we had that pause after like the midway through the second round, and I was like, how are they going to come back in this? And I was raining all over the parade for ANTICIDE. I was saying, look, DTR are looking fantastic. They're really in this, and they're really looking like they're going to take it. But to come back from 2-0 down to win 3-2 and in such fashion with these really close ends to these rounds, what a credit to the mental on this team.
Yeah, I actually can't believe it. I really thought that with DTR's momentum, it was going to just completely roll over ANTICIDE in that last map. But as you said, I think so clued in, really impressed with the way they kind of adjusted things. And in spite of still losing their demo quite a lot, they were actually trading a lot back for it. They decided to lean into that aggression a little bit more and, play with the chaos. And on a map like Bagel, which can be very chaotic. 100% there for it.
Yeah, that was absolutely a wild game. And yeah, we expect nothing less, right, in this season. Now, this season has just thrown up so many fantastic games, but it's going to be one more for the log at the end of the season. A couple of nice clips as well, perhaps, for people's end of season frag movies there coming out. And that's what you get with these fast-paced games where both teams really want to come and they really want to fight and they really want to just show what they've got. There's no like offy nerves where everyone's playing passive and chilling out. Everyone is just in at 100% all the time. You get like masterpieces like this. It was fantastic watching.
Yeah, no, it really was very fun game, and overall, an absolutely delight to watch.
I guess we can maybe look forward a little bit. I said before the game that if DTR were to make playoffs, they basically had to win this 6-0. They have lost it 6-0, and you can say, oh, mathematically, maybe there is a chance that they can get back in. I can actually say what they need to happen, right? They need to A, beat Witness 6-0 to start with. That's number one, has to happen. Also, number two is they need ANTICIDE to get 6-0'd by Samakot, who haven't won a point all season. And then ANTICIDE have to also get 6-0'd in their last game.
Yeah.
And it also has to be a three-way tie in fourth because they lose their head-to-head to ANTICIDE, right? Like,
yeah.
as nice as that's love to be, I think DTR their hopes of playoffs are over, but like they have put up some really damn good showings, right? They had the game this week was really tight. Bandem last week was a really, really tight series as well. They really could have got something out of that one as well on another day. It's been heroics for them. But I guess we can is there still interviews happening over on the A stream? That might be worth jumping over to. Shall we wrap up quickly and perhaps maybe
get a little air in.
Do we have the ability to throw a raid over? That'd be a
Well, okay. Doesn't
we don't have
seem
one.
like
It's
we
okay.
do.
I might be able to add one. We'll see. Anyway, we'll wrap it up for now. Do, if we aren't raiding even, just go over to Essentials. There's talking happening after the Mandem 4 Fence game. So we'll see you later on Print Stream for probably some Week 7 games next week. Goodbye.